Well, hello, this is Rochelle, and welcome to my channel. For today, I'm going to be using one of the Strawberry Patch South Africa beautiful silkscreen stencils, and I just put a big 12 by 12 page protector that I made at the back of this so that I could make sure that I don't ruin any of my other pages. And then I took some really cheap crafters acrylic paint that I picked up at a local store to use with this. I found that that's the best to use with these stencils. But first I'm going to be working on a bit of a background, and you saw me lay down the washi. With washi as a mask, you need to take off the excessive stickiness on your pants or something like that just by putting it on and taking it back off so that it doesn't tear your page because of its stickiness. And now I'm just laying down a few drops, pea size, of Deco Art Americana paint, and I wanted to do like a Megan Wells type background, but using the brayer instead of the paintbrush to lay down that background. And so the colors did mix a bit more than I anticipated. Not the end of the world though. I do like this color scheme. It is very much my color scheme. And so then just lay down that stencil, take your card, make a nice roll on it, and then swipe over the stencil once is enough. And then what I'm going to do, like I said, this is a Megan Wells type page, and so I'm going to be doing wood grain on the negative. Just watch. It's very difficult for me to explain this technique, but it's so beautiful and so relaxing. I am trying to just mask the definite outlines of the house so that I don't brush over it. So with doing this wood grain type effect, you pick up a little bit of paint on both sides of your flat brush of the two darker browns, and then you alternate with the lighter brown. So I used like raw umber, burnt sienna, and a sand. I didn't use the bleach sand, I used sand. So that's the background. It did end up darker than I think would have been nice, but again, this, I loved playing with this so very much, and so I would definitely try this again. So the stencil that I used is of a house, and this house is in Joshua 24 verse 15, where Joshua says, "As for him and his house, they will serve the Lord." And so I found it very apt to do a little house. And I just really love that verse so much. I'm thankful that with that decision we bring such liberty and freedom to our house. There's such power in that. You know, when the Israelites was in Egypt under the suppression and oppression of Pharaoh, and were slaves and working hard, and God sent Moses and Aaron to go deliver these 10 plagues to convince Pharaoh to let them go. The last one was to sacrifice the firstborn of each house, and so every house that wasn't covered by the blood lost that firstborn of that house. And it's that blood for every house, the blood of Jesus for every house, that helps us to say this, that there is a lamb for every house, and helps us to say that as for me and my house, in this house, we're covered by the blood, we're covered by Jesus, and we will serve the Lord. I pulled off that washi tape. I'm taking a Uniball Signo white gel pen, and I'm just slightly outlining the lines. You'll see me smearing it even a bit. I just want to put a bit of a highlight. The colors did end up very dark together, and so I did need to have just a little bit of white highlight to make sure that it stood out. Then I'm just going to be working on some sort of a scene here. So I have this little twig stamp, and I'm going to be stamping that out with a Creative Retreat ink, pigment ink, archival pigment ink, to just have these little bushes type thing in the background or at the bottom, so that my house is not completely floating. And again, it's not definite stamping, it's second and third generation stamping, just to have that outline of looking like foliage underneath my house, or by the bottom of my house. And then, like I said, because these colors did come out so dark, I did use a white gel pen on the edges, and then I'm using a gold gel pen just to outline the little frames of these windows and the frame of the door. Coming back to the reason why I picked this verse, is because Jesus gave us that freedom by his blood to be able to say that, as for me and my house, we can serve the Lord. And because of the work of Jesus, the finished work of Jesus on the cross, that original freedom that came with the Passover is also ours with Christmas, where Jesus was born. So first in the Old Testament, they used an actual lamb, a pure spotless lamb, and then that came full circle when Jesus was born, and then at Passover when he died on the cross for us. And so I love that Jesus is the beginning when he was born, now around Christmas time, and then he is also that end for the plague of sin on our lives when he was sacrificed on the cross. And that was of his own free will, in the sense that he did ask. He asked Jesus, he asked Father God to please take this cup away if it was possible. But then he said, not my will be done, your will be done. And so it was a decision to do that for us, and for that I will be forever grateful. I did also use a Creative Retreat little cloud stamp from I believe this was the July or the June kit, sorry. And then just using some of the Creative Retreat alpha stickers to type out. And obviously I didn't have enough space to type out, as for me and my house. So I just spelled out, as for my house, we will serve the Lord. And that's just it. It's I'm not going to give or entertain the thought that we don't. And it takes but one righteous, and we saw that with Rahab's story. Her house was saved because she played her case with the spies. And we see that with Noah. His family was saved, even though they were just one righteous. Lot's family was saved because Abram was pleading for the one righteous. And so if you're alone in your house today serving the Lord, I want to encourage you, continue to do so. Plead this over your house. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.